Hi, welcome to the Travel Wins Podcast. Today my guest is Tricia Mitchell. She's a self-described food junkie, a TV host, and a world traveler, and that's why I was really excited to talk with her. Doing modeling, chef, been around to... How many countries have you been to, Tricia?
Oh boy, a lot. I can tell you I've been to like 6 of the 7 continents. I've been all over Europe and Asia, Scandinavia. With modeling especially, you get to really travel, right? So yeah. I've up around. Yeah. I'm from Barbados. I'm from the Caribbean. So yeah, I've been everywhere.
At what point did you come over from Barbados? Did you make it to the States?
So I came over I went to Toronto first, and I finished high school.
Okay.
And then came over and I started modeling. I went to New York, and from there, it just went everywhere.
When you say everywhere, what's it like traveling as a model? I know, because most people have a preconceived idea.
Right.
It's glamorous, it's luxurious. And I'm sure it is that, but are there other parts that we don't get to see?
Yeah, there's a lot of, when you're a working model and you're very busy, it's a lot of, going to bed early, getting up really early, hopping from plane to plane. So, yeah, modeling is glamorous, that's fun. But when you're working, it's work. You're flying for a photo shoot, you're there for a day or two, you shoot, and then you're out of there, and you're on another plane going somewhere else. So, kind of got to be organized and, keep your energy up. And, you miss a lot of stuff back home, like parties or birthdays or whatever, because you're on a plane or on the other side of the world. So it's a job. When you're really working, it's a job. It's just like any other job. You're not just sitting around going, "Oh my gosh, it's so fabulous." You're working.
Yeah.
I love it.
What are some of the craziest scenes that you've been on, like that you got asked to do?
Craziest scenes that I got asked to do? Let's see. I've shot everywhere. I guess in Cape Town was really fun. We did a lot of crazy stuff. Like we shot in the middle in Cape Town. There's just one area called Longabon, and it's kind of like a nature reserve. So you're driving to the lake. There's kind of baboons running around, and then you get to this lake, and then on the lake there are these houses, but they're like real houses, like 3 or 4 bedroom houses, like giant houses on the lake. So it was kind of fun shooting there. I shot in the jungle in Brazil. That was also quite interesting. So, it really depends. But I think more of the locations have been so fantastic that I've been on that, it's really a different experience every time you go. And yeah, it's always memorable for sure. You're meeting a whole new group of people and a whole new, type of energy, and you're just getting down in it, So it's really cool.
I can only appreciate, because for me, like when I travel, I just have to make sure I can talk.
Right.
But for you have to, your figure has to be on point, your hair, your face, you got to get good rest because your eyes don't look bloodshot.
Right.
How difficult is it to be, at this point, you probably, it's just a pattern, but like, do you ever get freaked out? Like, oh my God, what if I
I don't really get freaked out, but you have to be disciplined. If you're disciplined in whatever you do, whatever job you like, it's a job, right? So it doesn't matter if you're sitting behind a desk or if you're flying to Europe to walk in a runway show, it's still your job. So you have to be focused, and you have to think about it like any other job. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you can't get lost in all the crap, because you need to be on set at like 5 o'clock in the morning and be in here and make up. You have to exercise. You need to eat well, or at least you should.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you just have to be a professional. That's the most important thing. And that's what clients like. That's what they're, when they come, they don't necessarily want to hang out with you. They want to get those shots, get you out there, because there's another model coming in. You know what I mean? It's like a rotating thing of models coming in and out. You shoot, then you go shoot somewhere else. So you really being professional is the most important thing that you can do. Be on time, never be late, make sure you're ready to go when you have that early call time.
Do you think some of especially the younger girls or models, because I'm sure guys do too, get caught up in the lifestyle of nightlife and then kind of mess up during the day?
I'm sure it happens. Yeah, I've definitely had friends who miss castings and things like that.
Yeah.
But the lifestyle, if you're in New York or you're in your city and you're going out at night and you're having dinner and whatnot, but you are there to work. So you need to be responsible. If you're a responsible person and, you're going after your career, you're going to be on time. Because if you're not, they're just going to hire somebody else. There's like 1,000 girls out there and guys out there. If you don't do it, somebody else will. And you don't want to get a reputation of not being professional, because then clients won't want to hire you.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you next was, does the reputation part follow you? I mean, do all the casting people and people that hire models talk?
Yeah, because you have a modeling agency, and you're going to also represent them when you do a job. And if you do a bad job, that gets back to the agency, and that's not good. They're not going to want to put you out there and put their reputation on the line if you can't deliver. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So it is important. And if you're in, people do talk, photographers talk, clients talk, which is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Because bad rep by the clients, you get blacklisted, then you're not going to work.
And how do you integrate in your chefdom? Do you purposely go and see the foods of the area that you're going to go visit?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've always been a chef. Food is my life. So for me, when I go to a new place, I like to get there a little bit early so I can go into the city and check out the markets and the culture. Oh yeah, I will find the chefs and I will find the food.
Exactly.
Just always happens. I mean, I go seeking it out, and then especially if I get to a great restaurant, I kind of want to get involved. I want to see the kitchen. I want to talk to the chef. I ask them about the ingredients. They automatically know I'm into food, and it kind of just goes from there.
How adventurous are you with your food?
Cooking it or eating it?
Yes.
That's two different things. I can cook anything. I mean, I like to cook foods I believe in. There's certain things that I think are gross that I don't want to cook. Doesn't mean I can't cook them if I'm challenged. Eating, I eat pretty organic, very, very healthy. But I'll try almost anything unless it's moving. I won't do it. I'm not like, I went to Japan and I kind of booked to go to all these Michelin star restaurants, and a lot of the stuff was alive, and I didn't realize.
I don't do that either.
So, right, because I'm going to the best restaurants. These are like omakase, 10 courses. And I'm like, yeah, give it to me. I know you're a Michelin star and you're amazing. But, that's not necessarily my thing. I think I like my food to be cooked, and definitely not moving. Sometimes it's a challenge. But yeah, I'm up for a challenge usually.
My wife and I went to the harbor and down here, and they had those purple urchins.
Oh, okay.
And they're still moving. I'm like, nope, no.
Oh,
I think they're purple color and they're sea urchins.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And they're still moving. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I mean, that's not necessarily my thing. But sea urchin is very popular in Barbados. We actually call it sea egg, and everyone just runs in the ocean. You can pick them out yourself, and crack them open, and eat them. So, these
were like the little tentacle things that open up.
Oh no, that's not a sea urchin. I'm wondering what that is. You have to send me like a photo or something.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you try it at all, or
no? I'm like you. Yeah. If it's moving, I ain't eating it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I really believe in eating. I just want to cook things I believe in and eat things that I love. I don't feel like I have to go, eat a squid that's still moving to feel like I know, that I'm really good at food, or that I know about food. Like certain things are it's just not, just like anything. Like everyone has a preference, right? So why would food different?
That's what it's all about. But because my wife and I got our trip to Japan canceled.
Oh yes, I'm sure. I'm sorry.
And so we were excited just to try some of the different, like actual Japanese food in Japan versus going to the sushi bar here. So I want to try new things, but I'm not super duper adventurous.
But I when I was in Japan, I ate a lot of shabu shabu, which I fell in love with. It's phenomenal over there, and there are some incredible restaurants. The chefs, they raise the animals themselves. They do everything themselves. Everything that animal has eaten, they gave it to them. So exactly how clean it is. So the food is really, really clean. And Japan has so many different kinds of food and so many different areas. And there's so many things you could do besides sushi that, trust me, you will not be disappointed. Japan is magical. It really is.
Thanks for ruining it.
You'll get there. This can't last forever, man.
It better not.
So
we were so excited to go. I mean, we had our plane tickets, our hotel for late March, or no, early. I think it was mid-April.
Right.
And then we got shut down mid-March. I was like, come on.
I know. It's, I'm just like fingers crossed that if people would just do simple things like wear a mask, and if everyone just works together, we will get out of this much faster than if everyone's arguing and fighting over what they think is right. Let's just do what's right for everybody so we can go out and keep restaurants open. I mean, support, your local restaurants and get out there. We have to do that. We have to be safe, right? So come on, guys, let's just do this so we can go out and eat.
Well, I was going to ask you, how does the lockdown affected you in your work?
It's been hard. I mean, as far as modeling, pretty much it's been pretty slow with everything. I mean, things are now starting to open back up. But it's just being done in a totally different way. Everything is online now. Like all your auditions, you just do them online. And, it's definitely not how it's definitely not how it normally would be. But I'm hoping that it's going to pick up soon and get busier. As far as food goes, restaurants are now opening, so that's really, really great. I'm lucky that I'm a chef and I can cook, so I didn't feel like, like I wasn't getting great meals. I was always making great dishes. Actually, it was kind of cool because I got to experiment with a lot more dishes and cook a lot more because I go out to dinner so much that it was great because I got to play around and just, seek out new things because you're home. So what else are you going to do? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, so. My wife and I, we ended up growing a lot of our own food and herbs just because we had time.
I love that. I love growing your own anything. I'm all about farm to table. I feel like we are what we eat. So if you can grow it yourself, I have a couple trees now. I have a pomegranate tree, passion fruit tree, some tomatoes, and I want to get a whole bunch more. I want to have a garden for sure.
That was, I think that's what helped at least us get through the lockdown was just having a positive mental attitude and really trying to, like you said, just well, we got this time. I'm usually on the road. I'm not on the road. Let's grow some food and see what happens.
Yeah, you have to evolve, and yes, it's a depressing situation. But what are you going to do? Sit here for a year and be miserable? I just don't see the point. I think that you need to evolve and start moving forward. And okay, this is what we're dealing with right now. How are we going to make this the best that we can? What are we going to do about that? Instead of sitting there complaining and worrying about being unhappy, I think you should focus on being positive and what can I do now? We don't have an option. It's not like it's a choice, right? We're here and we're stuck. So you have two choices. You can sit here and do nothing, or you could keep living. And I decided to keep living. So I wasn't super depressed during the lockdown or anything like that. I think it was sad with the amount of people that were dying, and that was hard. But as far as myself being at home and being miserable, I wasn't really, to be honest. I found there was lots of stuff to do. We're in LA. We're very lucky because we have a lot of space and we can get outside. Like New York, I love New York City. My heart goes out to them because they're in apartments. I don't care how big they are. It's a little bit different. We're really blessed in Los Angeles.
Well, I was going to say, where do you think you got that attitude? Was that from your parents? Was that just, did you grow into having that positive attitude?
Positive attitude?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a pretty positive person and a pretty energetic person. Like anyone who knows me will definitely say, yeah, she has a lot of energy. I'm kind of the kind of person you can drop in the world anywhere and I'll be fine. So, I've been in all different kinds of situations traveling around the world, and you have to make the best of it. So I'm definitely not the kind of person who I'm going to get up and I'm going to do something. I'm not going to sit there, and I just don't see the point in sitting and being miserable, because what does that do? It doesn't do anything. But if you have a positive attitude and you're like, okay, all right, I'm going to work on this today, or I'm going to do this today, or I'm going to check out something I totally have never done because I'm home and I have the time, or I'm going to write something, or whatever it is. You have to keep moving forward in life. If not, it's not really going to be worth living. And life is too amazing not to live. So I just don't see there being much of another option, in my mind, how my attitude is towards life. I'm very much live life to the fullest type of person. Always have been.
It's interesting because I feel the same way. It's like, you sit there and you go, people go, oh, you raised your two kids and this. And I was like, yeah, you have to. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you can either, I don't know.
I mean,
It's a choice, right?
it really is. It really is. And I'm not knocking that horrible things have happened. And I mean, as I said, it's awful. A lot of people have died, but we're still here. So, and the whole point of this virus is it's just trying to like take us away, right? And take away our life. So you can't let it do that. And that's like mentally and physically. You have to keep your mind clear and positive. If not, I could see people going into totally dark places because it's hard. It's very hard.
Absolutely.
But, get to the beach, get outside, go for a run, do whatever. Think of things that you would love to do that you didn't have time to do, and do those,
Totally agree. And I've had some friends and some of my accounts and my day job have gone out of business because of it. And so, I mean, they're having to reinvent themselves and find out what they can do and pay off their debts. And I mean, I had one friend, my best friend from high school passed away from COVID.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So,
yeah, I know it's awful. I think everyone knows at least someone or someone who knows someone that has passed away. I mean, we lost a lot of people in the past year, and I'm hoping that it slows down. And if people do need to wear their masks, so they do need to be careful. If we could just come together, we could fight this so much stronger. But it's just like everyone has their own agenda and trying to fight the man and whatever they're doing, and it's. We would be further ahead, I think, especially in the U.S., if everyone would just come together as one,
Have you traveled to Barbados since the COVID?
No, I haven't. Barbados had shut down for a while, and now it's open. But I was talking to my family, and, Barbados is an island of incredible restaurants and food, live music every night, incredible beaches. You're on boat cruises. You're doing things. You're out there. So because you can't do that, it's like my parents were like, why are you going to come home with any of your friends? You guys can't do anything. You know what I mean? You can't really enjoy the island the way you would enjoy the island when you come home. So what's the point? Which is true, and also from LA, it's much further. When I used to live in New York and on the East Coast, from here, it's like an 8-hour flight. You got to fly to Miami and then you got to fly there. And I'm like, I don't know if I necessarily want to be on a plane for that long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To go and then not be able to enjoy myself. I'd rather wait till my island is open so I can show my friends and I can really experience Barbados because it's such a beautiful, lively island. I mean, the people are so like full of energy and everyone wants to show you something. You want to go somewhere and there's something going on 24 hours. So you want to go and experience the culture. And right now it's just a difficult thing to do. So I'm going to wait. I've been going to Mexico a lot because it's 2 hours away. I've been there a couple of times and that's been fine, but you're still on a compound and not really leaving, but at least you get to be by the beach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Mexico's been a wonderful savior. So I've been really happy to be able to hop on a plane for 2 hours and get somewhere and have some peace,
We did that. We went to Nashville right before for Christmas.
How was Nashville? I've never been, but I've heard such great things about it.
It was, after being in California for the year and then going there and it was weird. The restaurants were open. I mean, you had to wear your mask, but once you got in, it was eat. We heard live music for the first time in 9 months.
Wow.
So it was, we went to, not concerts, but like they have one street called Broadway. And it's a really miniature version of Las Vegas. And so all the bars, all the live music, Jason Aldean, Kid Rock's place, Blake Shelton's place, they're all right there on that street. And every level has a different live music venue. There's there are three, like Blake Shelton's place, I think, I know Kid Rock's is three stories tall, and there's a different band on every level. So
that's incredible.
Yeah, you walk down the street at 10 in the morning on a Saturday, and you're hearing live music, and you're like, what?
Yeah, that's great. That's kind of like being at home in Barbados. There's live music every night, whether you go to dinner at a restaurant or you go to, we also have those streets, one called St. Lawrence Gap and one called 2nd Street on two different sides of the island where everything is live music, great food, and you're just people dancing in the streets. It's just energy,
Yeah.
And that's awesome. That must have been great to be able to just do that, even if it was not the way it normally is, just to have that kind of life energy must have been fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, we went to the Grand Ole Opry, which is the big venue there. And we did the behind the scenes tour, and, we had to wear a mask the whole time, but we still got to do it.
Yeah.
And, we were supposed to socially distance, and everyone was staying apart. Everyone was being good, but at least they were still open. So.
Yeah, that's really great. I mean, we'll see what's happening. I mean, we just opened a restaurant here in LA, 25%.
Yeah.
And hoping that it will stay, it'll stay open. I mean, I went to Wally's, Chef Ryan from Wally's is a friend of mine, and we went there the other night for dinner, and they were doing an amazing job at social distancing. I was really impressed. Besides the fact the food at Wally's, I don't know if you've been, is like phenomenal.
Yeah.
Blown away by the food, like unbelievable. And we pretty much had almost everything. He's a genius. And they really did a great job inside of people being far. It was like you're kind of by yourself still in a way. You know what I mean? And I thought that was pretty cool. Everybody's double masked. All the staff that work there, they're being
shield.
very...
Yeah.
No, they had the mask and the shield.
Yeah, yeah.
It was great. And they were doing a really good job. They were really respectful. I was really impressed, and everybody was able to have like a really great time. You know what I mean? Like they still had the energy of Wally's, so it was wonderful. I love Wally's Beverly Hills.
It's interesting because we went to Crustaceans in October. We go there for our anniversary, and I'm just curious how the restaurants are gonna. Because down in Redondo, we're the same way. Like, I wonder how many of the restaurants now are going to try and keep their outdoor patios the size they are.
I think that most of them are going to keep it. I think
not the ones in the street, but I mean,
yeah, the ones even the ones in the street, like Spagos is going to keep. I think they're going to take an outdoor space. I mean, Crustaceans is another restaurant I love, and the way they do everything with cleanliness and the laser, they're on it. So I think most of them are going to keep it because first, it's not over, so you never know if everyone's going to go back into another lockdown. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't think they're going to take it away. I think they'll want to keep it, and I don't think they'll take it away from them because we're not out of COVID yet. I mean, if something March break happened, if it gets really bad again, they're going to lock us out again. So
that'll be unbelievable.
Let's see what happens.
I don't want to think that.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, for now, I think they're keeping their outside spaces, and hopefully everything is going to go smoothly, and we're going to be okay.
Well, because my wife's friend owns a restaurant down here, and when they're able to stay open on the patio, they were able to make money.
Right. Yeah.
And now that they have 25% inside, it should be even better. But I was just wondering if they're gonna. I mean, they should, in my head, if they can afford to, if the demand is there, try and keep that outside patio.
I think they're going to try. I mean, they did such a good job of making all these outside patios, and they did Los Angeles. I think that most restaurants probably will try to keep them. It's working. It's not upsetting the order of people being able to get around or drive down the street. So that space was kind of wasted space before, and now it's being used. I think that's great. That they can do that. I'm sure there's a lot of permits or something that they will need, but at least for right now, I think it's a super positive thing, and I think they're planning on keeping it. It makes sense, right? Why wouldn't you expand your restaurant if you could?
I totally agree. I was thinking this. I'm like, man, if they could do that, because we went and ate at my buddy's restaurant. He owns good. I don't know if you've heard of Good Stuff Restaurants.
Good Stuff. Why does that sound familiar? What kind of food is it?
It's a breakfast food kind of place, but they have 4 of them. El Segundo, Hermosa Beach, Redondo Beach, and Palos Verdes, all along the South Bay. They used to have one up north in Santa Monica, but I think he closed it.
Gotcha.
But he's doing as best he can with the outdoor patio stuff. Now he can open up, so I'm hopeful.
Yeah. No, we have to. I mean, the point is to get back to life. I don't know if it's ever going to be the same. I think we need to realize that we probably need to be a little bit better, but I think that it could be better. I mean, we have to wear masks and whatnot, but Asia's been doing that forever, and they're fine. I mean, they've been doing this stuff for a long time, right? I mean, you go to Japan or you go to Vietnam, they're all wearing masks. They've been doing that forever.
Well, and see, I've always been like like I said, we were going to Japan, so we were watching a lot of YouTubes and about culture, so because we didn't want to be the rude Americans, and so we were, if you felt sick or you were coughing or sneezing, you'd wear a mask, but if you weren't, you didn't. So I got no problem with that.
Yeah, I'm a kind of a germaphobe anyway, so like hands, like washing my hands and I'm like, this wasn't really that difficult. It wasn't that much of a big change for me than what I was normally like anyway. So I'm like, yeah, okay. So now everybody's, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, none of that stuff really bothered me very much.
You're just kind of rolling with it anyways, huh?
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do? You could sit here and not do that, but I mean, what a waste of my energy when I could just move on to something else. So I'm gonna stick with that attitude for sure.
Going forward, and I literally have no idea. I've never talked to a model before. What is the future of? I mean, when you sit back and you go, maybe not, but maybe at some point, are you going to no longer be working as a model and getting the gigs that you used to get?
Yeah, I mean, I want to evolve into other things. I'm much more into hosting and like doing a show and stuff, things surrounded about food, than I am into modeling. I'm definitely going to evolve. I mean, modeling is great and it got me to travel all over the world, but that's never really my passion. My passion has always been food. So I'm going to follow my dream now for sure.
Well, I would think having a model looking host that actually is a chef is a good thing.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I mean, having all the contacts and having experience doing all the different things for sure. Absolutely. Like traveling and food and, you want to incorporate everything and help one thing you did, like one career build up your other career. You know what I mean? And help them all together, So even though like I never woke up when I was with kids and said, hey, I want to be a model. I appreciate everything that it has given me and shown me. I mean, it really has enhanced my life being able to do the things that I got to do. So I'm really, really happy with that.
How did you get started in modeling?
I was 11 and I was with my dad in Barbados, and a swimwear company came up and asked him if I could model for them. And he said yes, and I did that. And then after that, in Barbados, I just started doing everything. I was doing every commercial. I was on all the billboards. I was doing everything. And then by 16, I was ready. I wanted to move to New York when I was 2. So I'm a New Yorker, 100%. I love New York City. And when you live in Barbados, you don't go to vacation to an island. You go to the city, right?
Yeah.
So you go to New York. So I always wanted to go, and we were big travelers anyway, my family. And once I finished with school in Toronto, then I went to New York and modeling. I mean, I was modeling by then, so it was just a natural step to make it a career.
And did the chef thing just come from you traveling so much and trying different foods, or?
Oh no! Food has. In Barbados, we're very serious about food, and I have been cooking my entire life. I mean, I've always loved cooking. I mean, forever. That's always been with me. The modeling obviously came after the cooking. And then as I traveled and I have so many friends in the culinary world, I've been really lucky that way. And I've got to have so many incredible experiences. It kind of just evolved, but food was always first. Always.
That's so cool though.
Yeah. We're very serious. I mean, Barbados, the food is incredible. I mean, it's unbelievable. Like, it's perfectly flavored. It's like you don't crappy food. Like, people just eat it.
What's the don't miss food you have to eat when you go to Barbados specifically? I was going to say with the West Indies, but
flying fish for sure, because that's still flying fish. It's a fish. It's our national fish. It's called flying fish. It's delicious. We have obviously incredible fish. We have lots of fruits and vegetables that you don't have here. Like breadfruit is amazing. It's kind of, think of like potato, but it's much creamier, very buttery almost, and it's much bigger. It's like the size of a coconut. We have a different cherry. We have different grapes. We have our food is, sushi is amazing, and it's really hard to get a bad meal in Barbados. Like, McDonald's came to Barbados and went out of business in 1 month. There's only one other place in Japan that McDonald's failed. And it's Barbados and this place. That's it.
Wow.
It wouldn't, at first it was packed with lines to go, because you go to New York on vacation, sure, you want to eat at McDonald's, that's great, right? Because they would eat that kind of stuff. But once it came to Barbados, it became like something that people ate every day. Couldn't last 30 days out of business. I mean, like no customers. It's really funny.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. It's also McDonald's. So.
Well, but I think, my ex-in-laws, they were from the Philippines. And, and so my ex-father-in-law bought his mom her first refrigerator. Yeah. And she literally threw it away.
She threw it away?
Because she thought that the food, after 70 years of going every day to the market to get fresh fish and fresh food, whatever she was going to eat that day, she would go to the market in the morning and get, and then make it. So she said that the refrigerator made the food taste weird because it wasn't fresh anymore.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about, if you have access, you're in a place where you have access to get fresh food every single day. I mean, anything else is going to not be as good. I mean, like refrigerators are important and we need them. But if she was just living on a daily basis of going and getting everything fresh, of course, you can't compare that to anything. By the time it goes into the fridge, there's other things in the fridge that could change the flavor. And because she's used to such high quality, she would notice. I can understand that.
Yeah, I did too. I was like, makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I mean, it would be awesome if you could go get the best of everything. When I was in Vietnam, it was great. Went to the markets. I would spend days in the market because things just taste so different. Like I had hearts of palm. It was like these white holes, and I didn't know what it was. And I ate it, and it was like the most incredible thing I'd ever tasted in my life. And then when the other chef I was with, he explained to me that it was hearts of palm, I was like, well, it was a completely different thing than what you get in a can, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I was like, well, I'll never be able to eat hearts of palm in a can again. That's for sure. Like it's a whole different thing. The taste of fresh food cannot compare to anything else for sure. So I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah. So, and if you've been doing something your whole life, why change it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, if you have that's also, you have access to it, right? That's how they always live. They have access to it. Here, we don't have that. We need to go to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, or a butcher who got it from somewhere else. But we don't go to the farm where they just slaughtered the animal and, you're getting that meat and that animal was alive yesterday. That's a whole different deal.
Yeah, and you've been to some of those places. I mean, and a lot of the Filipinos do that too. It's like, I mean, you're making your own food. I mean, you're killing the animal. You're preparing the animal.
Yeah. You're raising the animal half the time, right?
Yeah.
You feed the animal everything that it eats. So that's huge right there. There's a guy, a chef in Japan, and he does chicken sushi. But he raises these animals himself. He feeds them. He doesn't even have to cut them. He can just pull them apart because they're just so soft and tender. You know what I mean? That he can serve it raw like sushi. It's incredible, right? So, I mean, you are what you eat and what that animal eats as well. So if your animal is eating really clean and really healthy and, the best of everything, and then you eat that animal, that's going to be the best tasting food that you could have.
That's what I was trying to explain to my friends about clean eating, and it's not, to me at least, it's not about becoming a vegetarian, but it's about knowing where your food comes from. Because I have friends that have ranches up in Montana, and they eat their own cattle. They're not force feeding them corn and all that. They're truly grass fed. I said that's going to be a good clean meat versus some of the meat that we get's not super clean.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, especially if COVID has taught you anything, it's like you are what you eat. Like if you're eating, genetically modified garbage or all this weird unorganic chicken or whatever, and all the hormones and stuff they inject into it, that's going into your body. It's amazing to me that people don't think that would affect them when they're putting it in their body. How could you think it wouldn't affect you? If it's in the animal that you're eating, I mean, you are what you eat. So you really, it's important, I think, for health and everything to know what you're eating and know where it comes from and know what you're putting in your body. That way, when people get cancer, they get sick and they don't know why. They're like, I've been eating healthy and I don't smoke and I don't drink. But what are you eating? Where is that food coming from? What is in the food you're eating? That's what you have to look at.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like truly eating. I mean, because people go, well, I eat, or, I eat this or I eat that. And I'm like, yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah, you want to eat organic, and it's also what you put on your skin, what chemicals you use when you clean your house, what you use for laundry detergent, all of that stuff. Your skin is the largest organ in your body. It's a large organ. It's all over. Everything is absorbed through it. It's not plastic. It's porous. Things can go into it. So anything you're doing in your lifestyle is going to,
come through. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think a lot of people don't think about that, but if you think about it, it's pretty basic,
I always say, like, my kids are 25 and 27, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'll say it was about 3 or 4 years ago, and I really started getting into the food and learning why we do things. And I went to him, I said, look, I did the best I could with what I knew, and I'm just sorry that I didn't know more. Because I feel like we get deceived here in the U.S.
Right.
I mean, why would kids be told to eat sugar cereal with cow milk every morning?
Yep.
I'm like,
you're right.
I mean, where is that good for you?
Yeah, I mean, we don't need dairy, first of all.
Yep.
So, I think that they had that, I think the dairy farmers and all those big companies want to sell things to you. So they're saying, oh, this is what you need. And, before, I think nobody checked anything out. But now we have social media. We have so many ways. We have the internet. We have so many ways to investigate things for ourselves. We don't have to take anybody's word for it. And I believe that you should check it out. I always read everything that's on anything that I buy, any kind of food. I want to know what's in it. That's the first thing I do if I'm buying a new product, is look and see what ingredients are in there. That's important to know.
20 or 30 years ago, especially 40 years ago, that was not a concern. Like, I just...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Concern or people... Yeah, I guess people weren't thinking about it. Think about the cigarette industry, right? Like how with all the cigarettes, and when they were like, smoking isn't bad for you, for think of that whole group, that Mad Men, Mad Men, that era, where they were all smoking, pretty much all died of cancer, right? Because they were told it wasn't bad, and everyone's like, cool, we like this, so we're not going to check it out. But now we have the knowledge and the tools to go, let me check this out for myself, and I'm a firm believer in doing that. And now that we have the opportunity to do it, I mean, why wouldn't you, Like we're very lucky to live in a time where we can get the knowledge, because knowledge is power, and we can learn for ourselves. We don't have to listen to a big company who just is trying to sell us a product, and is going to say, oh, this product's really great. You can check it out for yourself, and you should. I
love Google. You know what I mean? Yeah. When I'm shopping, I'm like, let me see what this is.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Or I'll even go home and say, let me check out what this is.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I check everything out. Even if I'm traveling, I want to learn a little bit. I go and do some research on my own before I go somewhere new, so I can, you see what to expect, or you learn a little bit. Or especially when you go to Japan, for example, they have a lot of cultural things that we do here that might be considered disrespectful. Like if you're they pick their teeth, they cover their mouth. There's all these different things that they do that, they have different rules, different ways of life. So it's nice to know some things so that when you go there, you are showing respect to wherever you are.
Well, and one of the things there were many things we learned, but it was like, you're not supposed to eat while you're walking.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to eat your food where you eat your food, and then that's if you go to, like, you look at Tokyo, and one thing, I mean, I'm old, so I look at weird things. There's no trash on the ground.
Mm-mm.
And I'm like, there's no trash anywhere. And I'm like, what? And there's no trash cans. So I'm like,
very clean, very, very clean. Japan to me is like being in the past and being in the future at the same time. Their technology is like, even the way a door opens, you're like, well, this makes complete freaking sense. Why don't we do this? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like but that's just basic for them. They're very, 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 they have old customs that are really old-fashioned, and then they have things that are so advanced. I just don't understand why. I'm like, this is the most brilliant way to do something. Why isn't the rest of the world doing it this way? Why won't we just copy them and do it this way? It is the best way. It's the way that makes the most sense, right?
If we can pick up our own trash the way they do, I'd be so happy.
Yeah. Yeah, we have like 3-4 garbage cans each, and people still can't seem to get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and they have 35 million people in one city, and there's no trash, no graffiti, no homeless, or very little. I mean, very little.
Very, very. They're very clean. They're very respectful, and a lot of their culture has to do with respect and honor. So, because that is the base of what their culture comes from, they follow it. It's really great. It's really, really great. I love Japan.
My daughter went there. My youngest daughter went there and said, she said you could hear the Americans because they're louder as a group, and especially the younger kids. And she said it was so weird. Like, she was there with her fiance, and they were being respectful, and then you could hear the Americans being super loud and abrasive and just trying to talk over everybody else. She said it was interesting to see that end of it.
Yeah, for sure. I think, you could definitely, I think there's people who travel who want to be a part of the culture, and they want to be engulfed in it. And there's people who travel who, I don't know, they're not there to make a change or look or learn. They just want to be themselves in another place. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I think that's I think when you go, there's so many amazing places. I don't want to go, like I went to, where was I? The British Virgin Islands. And I was really disappointed because all of their food, they import from the U.S. So when you're going around on the different islands or whatever, and you see chickens and lamb and whatever running around, sheep and everything, they don't eat any of that. They just import everything. And I thought that, to me, that really sucked. I'm like, I don't want to come here and eat food from the U.S.
Yeah.
I want to come here and want to eat your local stuff. They use so much stuff that's imported that I didn't love it. I could just stay in the States in that case. I want to go and see something different. That's why you travel, to learn.
That's the whole point, yeah.
To do that and to experience something new. If not, might as well just stay here.
One thing, like what my wife and I talked about, because we were doing the same thing. We're like, we want to try new foods, and I go, look, worst case scenario, because in Japan, Tokyo specifically, I guess the 7-Elevens have like real meals there. It's not like the U.S. And I go, look, let's try some different things and we'll try some of the food. And I go, worst case scenario, we'll go ahead and go to a McDonald's once in a while or whatever, and if that's what we need, but I want to try and eat their food.
No, and even I don't eat at McDonald's, but I know that on the way through the airport, we were in Vietnam, and even you can look at the McDonald's menu,
it's different.
And it's not. It's completely different. It's completely different. It's catered for, so they have rice and different. It's not like the same menu. I'm sure they probably have some of the main things on there, but yeah, you're going into their culture, and you go. When I was in, where was I? Not the Philippines. I was in Malaysia, and in the morning you get rice with shrimp for breakfast. Like you get, that's a breakfast dish. It's something that you probably think you'd have for lunch, but that's their culture, and it's delicious.
What countries do you want to go that you haven't been to yet?
What countries do I want to go? I really want to go to Israel.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be amazing. I'd like to check out Egypt. I'm thinking of places I haven't been. Where else have I been? There's different parts. Like I've been up to Paris, but I haven't been to Champagne, France, and I really want to go through Champagne, France, and trial the wineries and all that kind of stuff. So I don't necessarily. There's lots of places I haven't been, but there's different parts of those places. I definitely I have to go back to Italy. You can just never get enough of Italy, and London is one of my favorite places. I could go to London. I'll go back to London for sure. London is incredible. I think that's actually going to be the first trip I take once we can go. I want to get to London.
So how come you haven't started a food show yet? What's going on?
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Yeah, I'm definitely working it. That's in the works for sure. Yeah, that's definitely where I'm going for sure. That's all I can say about that, but definitely working on it. Yeah, food. Yeah, I'm going to get most definitely.
I mean, it seems like a perfect fit. I mean,
yes, it really is. Yeah, it's a perfect fit for me. And it's cool because the great thing about being in LA, is that you have so much diversity and you can also get so much different produce. So if not, you can get it flown in, but it's a great place to get involved with that. And there's so many unique restaurants and so many great chefs here. And yeah, it's a great place to do a food show, 100%.
Because like I said, I mean, it makes perfect sense. You have model good looks and then you're an actual chef. Yeah, definitely. That is coming. Well, I know. Do you think the lockdown hurt the ability for that to happen? Because I know, like, some of my guests are travel show hosts, and they're not traveling, obviously. So.
Oh yeah, for everything, for 100%. I mean, you can't do anything. So, I mean, I think it hurt every industry. I don't think there's one industry that didn't get hurt. Maybe finance, I don't know, but that didn't get hurt by this. The entertainment industry, for sure. You can't travel, you can't shoot, you can't be on set, you can't do anything. 100%, and of course we know it's been horrible for restaurants. We've unfortunately lost so many great restaurants because of COVID. So, I would say it would have been devastatingly crushing for sure.
Well, one industry that's doing well was vitamins.
Right. Yeah.
I talked to the CEO of U Theory, a vitamin supplement company, and they're growing because people are buying more vitamins.
Yep. All the industries, alcohol, weed, vitamins, definitely would be doing well. I think people, some people are like, okay, cool. Maybe there is something to like taking more vitamins or whatnot because people want to make themselves as healthy as possible. So that makes sense.
Yeah. And so he was building a new warehouse, a new distribution facility.
That's great.
So yeah, I think there's always going to be positives out of it. How do you stay in shape when you're traveling so much?
Yeah, I mean, just keep your the key is to keep your immune system high all the time, right? To keep I take a lot of organic tinctures like turmeric and ginger and deep immune, blah, blah, blah. But I've been taking those forever, right?
Have you really? How long have you been taking that stuff?
For years and years. I'm a green organic junkie, 100%. So now, as I said, that kind of stuff is not weird. But it's so good for you. It's really good for your body. It keeps your immune system high. So it's really important, I think, to take all of those kind of, and it has to be organic things instead of chemicals. I'm not really a big fan of chemicals or drugs. I much prefer to go the green route. And if you take it, like if I feel like I'm getting the slight bit of a cold, and I take oregano oil right away, I don't get sick.
You take what?
Oregano oil. Oregano oil is like a godsend. It was really good. And if you're getting sick, but you have to take it right when you're getting sick. Like if you get sick, it probably won't help you as much. Right. And you might need to get drugs. The minute you feel the slightest sore throat or a little bit of a stuffy nose, you just take some oregano oil and you don't get ill. It's great.
I'm going to try that. That's my win for the day.
Strong. Yeah, go green first. I mean, I would say go to the green drugs first.
Sure.
And then if that doesn't work, you have to take drugs, take your drugs. But, I mean, if I can go a healthier route, I'm going to go for that for sure.
See, because I've been on the turmeric and U Theory. That's their number one selling supplement right now. Yeah,
I take that every single day. Turmeric and ginger.
Yeah, I didn't take that when I was younger. I was not told to eat that.
And for Barbados, I mean, a lot of things we didn't have all the pesticides and all that kind of stuff. So everything was kind of natural. And so it's like now taking it, I mean, we're in the States now and there's a lot of genetically modified garbage, but taking those things, if you research, hey, and, I have a headache or my stomach hurts, what do I take? You take ginger because ginger, settles your stomach. There's like so many things you can do without having to take a Tylenol or Advil or any of that kind of stuff. Like I haven't even taken that stuff in over at least 10 or 15 years. I've not taken a Tylenol, Advil. I don't have any of that stuff in my house. I don't take any chemicals. I just stick to green drugs, and I think green drugs are the best.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
But I'm stoked to hear that. I think the younger people need to hear more of that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, it's the younger generation. They are the ones who are thinking differently. Okay, it's more the older generation, I think, are the ones who are caught up in all the, things that they've always heard. I think it's the younger generation that is like more green, thinking outside the box. Like they're the ones that are doing that. I mean, like obviously, because they're the ones who are thinking about it. Like, let's think about this a different way. I think it's what the older generation are the ones who are stuck more in their ways, whereas the younger generation coming in is open to more things. Like, I mean, I go out for lunch or I go to pick up food or whatever, and the kid is like, I want gluten free and I want this and blah blah blah, and you can hear those kids around you or they already know all about this stuff, and because that's all the stuff they were open to. So, and also it's also the job of you as a parent to introduce your kids to healthy eating and healthy eating habits. If you teach them healthy eating habits, they will eat healthy, right?
I think a lot of it is cultural. I mean, I always talk to my wife. I would go, why are eggs and bacon considered breakfast food? Because we've been told that.
Right.
I mean, you can eat eggs whenever you want. You should be able to eat bacon whenever. You can, if it's healthy, eat healthy.
Yeah. And I mean, there's so many options. I mean, besides bacon, like you can have turkey, bacon. Bacon. You don't have to eat it just for breakfast, but you can. Oatmeal is really great for breakfast. Fruit is good. At this point, that whole thing of like, oh, this is for breakfast and this is for lunch and this is for dinner. That whole idea is kind of like so passé. You know what I mean? Like you eat whatever you want to eat and make it healthy. I hate going to restaurants where it's like brunch menu and everything is eggs. That like irritates me because one, I'm allergic to eggs, but two, it's like, just because it's brunch doesn't mean every single dish has to contain an egg. Why don't you do a variety of different things? You know what I mean? Sure, have your omelets and your scrambles and blah, 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 but have some other stuff too, because there's a high possibility that somebody coming here for brunch today doesn't like eggs, right?
Yeah.
So I think diversity and that kind of stuff is important. You want to go, you want everybody to be able to enjoy their meal. You know what I mean?
That's interesting. Yeah. But, like I don't think my parents gave me bad food because they wanted to give me bad food. I think the information they had back in the 60s and 70s was nowhere near what we have now.
Absolutely, which is what I was saying about Mad Men and stuff like that. That era, of course, want to. Nobody said, hey, cigarettes are going to kill you and, they're really bad for you and blah, blah, blah. That's not the information they were given, right? And they trusted what they heard. Now people don't trust as much. They just check it out for themselves, right?
Well, yeah. I mean,
partially.
And I think food is going to come along. That I hope so. I mean, the calorie count and those charts that we rely on now when we buy food weren't there 10 years ago. Yeah,
I mean, even Burger King.
Yeah, you didn't know.
And I'm like, that is them trying to change. Like, they have Impossible Burger. They have an organic burger. I mean, like, if you really were desperate, if I go through the airport and I see Burger King, not like I eat at Burger King, but I can see, wow, you at least have an organic burger on your menu. Like, they're at least trying to evolve, and I respect that, Like, hey, there's a better way, and we're going to try.
Well, my number one saying always is better is better.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
If my friends are eating crappy meals, I have one friend, he ate meat with every meal 3 days a week or 3 times a day.
Wow.
And I'm like, dude, really?
Yeah, you need like meatless Monday, buddy.
Yeah, I mean,
sure.
I go, so make three meals of the week, no meat, just vegetables and fruits. Just 3.
Yeah.
Because better is better.
Yeah, it's better. It's definitely better. I don't think you should be eating 3 meals of meat a day, for sure.
I know. That's just too much. And his heart he was not doing well. That's why we were talking about it, because he had just had a heart issue.
Oh, my. Gosh, that's horrible.
And I'm like, dude.
Better. Did he try to clean up his act?
He is.
Good.
Absolutely.
That's great.
So.
That's good.
Do you think that outside of just being able to talk about good food and look pretty and go to cool spots, your food show can be educational to a large extent.
Yeah, I mean, I think for sure, because you want to teach people too, like, you teach them about why this is better, and you want to share that message with the world. You know what I mean? So absolutely, and it can be a delicious message. Like, I think a lot of people might think, oh, you're eating healthy, so it's not fun or interesting. That is completely untrue. Food is amazing. And if there's so many natural things you can use to make food absolutely delicious. It doesn't matter what it is. So I think that for sure I want to send that message and teach people to eat healthier. That's very, very important.
Well, I could not agree more. Thank you so much for your time today. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. What's the best way for my listeners to follow you and see what you have coming up?
Best way is to go check out my Instagram. It's Tricia, TRICIA _Mitchell, MITCHELL _ and all the new stuff that's coming out and everything I'm going to be doing is always going to be posted there.
Perfect. And I'll make sure to add the link to my website and all that so people can just go.
Thank you so much.
The pressure's on, Trish. I want to see. I want to see the TV show.
Good. I'm on it. So that works for me.
So I'll be checking in on you.
Yeah, please do. I'd love that.
And then when it happens, make sure I want to find out so I can repost our episode and get some more press on it.
I promise you, the world will know.
Exactly. Sounds great. And thanks again. I really appreciate the time.
Anytime. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tricia.